Welcome everyone to the first actual session for the Galaxy for our first mini campaign, Hard Contact. Bit of a refresher for anybody that it's been a while since we did the last video too. But the Galaxy is going to be our new Tuesday campaign or game series, I should say, because it's going to be made up of a lot of mini campaigns, anywhere between 3 to 5 sessions typically, with kind of different sections of stories about the Galaxy, our collaboratively built setting that we'll be playing through. And the group decided to go with our first campaign being Hard Contact. Utilize and another piece of it too is each campaign is going to utilize a different system that kind of fits the vibe and feel for the campaign. And our first campaign is going to be utilizing the original version of Alien. Depending on when you watch this, Alien 2E is going to be out sometime soon, but we're using the OG version with a few tweaks from some of the Year Zero improvements Free Leagues put out. But yeah, so with that, let's set the stage. With the Galaxy, one of the latest phenomenon has been certain sectors just straight disappearing, going dark, and for a long time, many attributed it to pirate attacks, to just losses of signal, to just kind of the random phenomenon known to the Galaxy. But very recently, a phenomenon has been proven that the Star Eaters, once a myth that spacers told and claimed to have seen, but none have been able to verify, have been verified. With Star Eaters coming into systems and eating the stars, destabilizing them enough until they go nova. Attracted and destabilizing the stars and eating them to gain the precious zero within the star's center. With that, the galaxy has been shaken. The great powers that be know kind of from the very scant information that they've seen. These Star Eaters are another class. Even their ships, their resources, even the ancient technology they've been able to scavenge, these Star Eaters are a step above. So it started to turn into a bit of a space race for people to learn more about what these Star Eaters are and how to stop them. And that's kind of what we'll pull into our crew. You kind of see them flying through space, and this. I'm going to assume your guys' spaceship is probably pretty beat to hell, right? You guys not really pulling it in right now.
I mean, nah. I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I'm of the assumption that since we're all working together to get that station to somewhere else, we're not spending too much on making the thing pretty, right?
Yeah, I mean, why waste precious resources on a nice ship if odds are we're probably all just going to die when we get there?
That's
it. Better off keeping better ships.
I specifically put in Darwin's description. He's a cheapskate. Ain't no way he's spent a dime on this thing. Unless you count maybe fuel.
So if you guys see kind of soaring through space, this ship that looks like it's definitely almost not retro tech, but it's definitely old tech. It looks like it's been through hell and back, held together by determination, spirit, and just kind of an unquantifiable factor, but it is still making its way through the stars, approaching this space station that is a far cry from the one you left at home. This one is well fortified, well modernized. You see blinking lights kind of tracing off of it. This is the sector station for Zarvog, the self-appointed defender of this sector of space. You see the hailing lights bringing you in. But before we kind of go into the meeting with Zarvog, I do want to kind of learn a little bit more about each PC. So I'll let you guys go. Who's piloting the ship right now?
Sorry,
I can probably pilot unless there's an actual pilot.
Kaladin, you're piloting the ship. How does Kaladin approach flying? And give us a little bit about who Kaladin is. And am I pronouncing that right now that I think about it?
Yep, Kaladin.
Perfect.
And so first I'll say, yes, I am reading The Way of Kings. Shout out, fantastic book.
Me too,
I just
actually.
started
Yeah.
that series. and that's where it came from. Yeah, so Kaladin, extremely quiet, looks relatively young. Showed up on the space station one day, outfitted with military gear, clearly with military training, and just looking for a place to stay and live. Um, you know, people didn't ask a lot of questions when you're looking for help, and especially when that help isn't looking to get paid for much. And so he's just kind of hung out. The thing that might strike people as a little bit odd with Kaladin is he's extremely competent in battle. Anyone who's kind of been in the thick of it can attest to that. But he almost looks like he just goes through the battle like unfazed. He's extremely calm, cool, collected. He has no battle scars. It doesn't look like, if you were to look at him, you wouldn't have been like, yeah, that guy saw some stuff. And so, yeah, so Kaladin is just this really even keel tempered combat specialist that just kind of keeps to himself, doesn't talk about his past. People don't ask him about his past, and that's kind of how it works out.
Perfect. We see Kaladin kind of piloting the ship, leading you guys closer and closer to this massive space station in your view. What's somebody else doing on the ship? I'm gonna go in order. Radel, actually, is that how it's pronounced? And what are you doing?
Well, let's go with Rydell.
Radel, all right.
Let's make it more exotic, right? Right. Well, Officer Rydell Nom is a master of the art of manipulation, making his way through conversations and intricacies between ones and others. Always fluid. Never really, you can't really pin him down. He's friendly, he's mean, he's everything in between. He's been out and about in the stars for a long time, but I forget what we call that station, but he calls it home. And maybe it's a point of pride for him, maybe it's sentimentality, maybe it's both. But he is putting everything he can everything in him to see it succeed. And he throws himself into whatever missions or jobs might pay. And that's when he's here. He is used to being in charge. He's okay at it. Better than most, better than some. But he knows when to hang back. He knows when to move forward. At least till now.
Perfect. And what's Rydell doing on the ship?
Well, Rydell is, I would wager he's probably letting Kaladin steer it in. Kind of not like, not backseat driving, but definitely looking over his shoulder to see how things are looking, trying to assess the situation, see if it's a lot of hustle and bustle at the station, if it's quiet, trying to gauge the temperature, if you will.
Perfect. Was Rydell watches over Kaladin guiding the ship in. We'll go to our next crew member. And I'm going to probably butcher this one. Kelru?
Yeah, I made it difficult on purpose.
Just pronounce it differently each time. Just through.
So, Gakelru is a Mengasi. She has like a large shell that's different colors of gray and brown, and no legs, but kind of like hovers through the air using magnetic waves. She has some like arms that are kind of like curled in that aren't really used for much fine manipulation, but there's a few kind of objects that she like kind of holds close to where her kind of like body is inside of the shell. And more of her shell is gray than brown, which is indicative of being old for their species. And she's probably in some corner of the ship away from the rest of the group. And she's probably got like a dozen or so different objects that she kind of holds in her small arms. And she's like, and they're all different items from her children that she just kind of looks at. Like there's a strange stone that one child found, some papers that represent somebody's like completing an education, a few different things like that. That she just like carries, because like these arms aren't used. She uses magnetic waves to like manipulate things and do things. So it's like she just kind of carries those things with her at all times. But is kind of grumpy and doesn't engage in small talk unless she has to. As well as also kind of going through some of the medical supplies that she's brought to make sure that we have everything prepared for any possible challenge that we'll face in our adventure to come.
Perfect. Now, Kelru is kind of keeping to herself in the back of the ship while reviewing the supplies and mementos. What's our last crew member doing?
So, firstly, I do want to mention Darwin did also have a pretty long name native to his people, but he got so sick of the people on the station mispronouncing it, he just goes by Darwin now. The closest that was to a human name and the pronunciation to it. Be it he being the one who chose that or someone else for him, it's not really known. It's just kind of stuck. So Darwin would be just kind of like running, pacing, jogging through the ship, going through each little mechanism part of it, and making sure it's not going to blow up. There's never a still moment with him. Constantly checking up on one thing, working on another, just bouncing from place to place. And he does not look certain about what he's doing at all. I want to make that clear.
Perfect. And I apologize if you said, what does Darwin look like?
Oh, Darwin is a Quinn. That's how we pronounce it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
Darwin is a Quinn. He is currently dressed in just 1 second.
Purple as Darwin comes back. So you guys are kind of all going through your own individual paces. Darwin going through, checking the ship, making sure all the dials and equipment is working and functioning. Galkelru going through and checking the medical supplies, keeping to herself. Rydell, I feel probably uncomfortably close to Kaladin's shoulder, just looking through as Kaladin brings the ship into bear. But eventually you are able to land upon the space station. And you see this space station, it's going to be hard not to draw parallels to yours. All the lights are functioning. The hangar, as you come into it, there's well-working ships in the bay, clean, neat, orderly. You kind of step outside the ship. The air, while sanitized, doesn't feel overly sanitized. It doesn't have that like metallic twang that you've gotten so used to at the station of air that's just been recycled and recycled and recycled upon. You are greeted by kind of this younger human. You'd guess probably 19, 20 male is kind of wearing this blue and gold, almost scale type shirt. Like it's definitely kind of an ornamental, not like armor or anything like this, but it's kind of blue gold and has like this almost scaly texture to it. And he walks up and goes, "Welcome, Defender Zarvog would like to speak with you all. He says he's glad that you have taken up his offer and he would like to give you some additional information before leaving. Please, right this way." And he kind of gestures towards you, starts leading.
Briefly, I am back.
Oh, perfect. And with that, one of the things I'll ask you all. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to finish describing my character.
Go for it.
Have we moved past the point, or should I?
You can go.
Okay. So, just to briefly describe, very much everything that Darwin is wearing is on its last legs, clearly either donated or scavenged. And he himself definitely does look a little bit older, with a cracked shell and very tired-looking eyes.
Perfect. And I've got a couple questions I'm going to ask you guys through this first part, just about this crew in general. Um, I think with this one, probably the first one be because your space station, and I can't. If we did name it, I did not write down your space station's name. I was just looking through my notes on that side.
Right.
But that's not the question.
Better.
Oh, go ahead.
I feel a little better because I totally don't remember. Because it was never discussed. That's why I don't remember.
You did
right?
forget it; just never came up. Just
Yeah.
or if it did, I forgot you and didn't write it down.
We
But-
call it home.
With your space station, because last time we talked, you guys were Zro inspectors and hunters before kind of turning to the mercenary life. How's that transition being? Kind of going from mercenaries who do odd jobs, quick, and for a high premium, and kind of starting off as being just simple Zro inspectors. How's that transition been for the party, or even your NPCs as individuals?
Well, I get to spend a lot more time with my kids, which, if you hear any of them talk about it, will think that I hate that. But deep down, I actually really enjoy it. I'll tell all these stories about how it was better back in the mercenary days, but ignoring the worst parts of it, seeing friends getting killed, seeing all these horrible things happening, the terrible people overcome with the addiction to Zero. All the things that I talked about while we were mercenaries.
Well, I think you guys are mercenaries now.
So the okay, so that I guess because we like settled down at the station kind of, but then I guess I'm a little confused on that timeline.
I think you guys were at least what you said last time. You were Zero inspectors, a team of Zero inspectors aboard the station. But after the star lane near your station closed, haven't started doing mercenary work to find ways to fund the moving the station.
Yeah. Okay. So
Like
sorry.
Kids.
Then I would be complaining about how much danger we get ourselves into all the time and how much more risk is involved, and it'd be great to just go back to the nice old days when I could spend more time with my children and keep an eye on the movement of Zero and see all sorts of interesting people. But back in those days, I complained about having to spend too much time with my children and all the weird people coming through and things of that sort. So
grass is always greener.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, Ray goes with the flow. You need us to make money to get out of here? Money it is. We'll find it. We'll make it. We'll take it. We'll do what needs to be done. And frankly, at least it's interesting. The humdrum was humdrum. I like to imagine it's more of a. He's a smart guy. This Ray, but he likes to think he's the smartest guy in the room most of the time, and he likes proving that to himself over and over with meeting new people. And even if he doesn't, I could probably take him in a fight. So so he still wins in his own way, right? Not a fist fight, but.
Gotta have the goals.
Yeah.
I think so. Kaladin came on a little later. I don't think he would have been there at the kind of the beginning before before the trade route was broken there, and Kaladin is very content with there not being as many visitors to the station. And so while he wouldn't be actively opposing moving or interfering with the mission, he's probably not as excited about the end game as maybe some of the other people on the ship.
Perfect. Anything to add, Darwin?
Darwin loves the fact we're not messing with Zro any longer. You notice he's not in a hazmat suit most of the time anymore. And he has been over the moon about going into mercenary work until we actually got on the ship to go to any jobs. In that case, he's a bucket of complaints.
So I feel like there's like a front half and back half of the ship. Like back half of the ship is just like complaining. Galkeru, Darwin, just probably a mix, probably not even talking to each other, just complaining out loud. With Ray and Kaladin, they're just at the ship like laser focused.
It is what it is. Punch in, do my time, whatever that means.
Well, you
It
guys
sounds like Darwin likes the idea of mercenary work, and that's it.
Darwin enjoys the idea, but when the work part comes into play, that's where the issue comes.
The dreaded effort.
Perfect. Well, this human kind of leads you through the station, and you kind of see like one of the things that stands out to you is this kind of how much space is wasted in this station. The doors are big, the roofs are high. Looking through, like it's a 20-foot roof, like 20-foot hall, or 20. The roof is 20 feet high, I should say, which like for a space station is like unheard of, and especially a space station like yours where space is at a premium and they're trying to fit every little thing and every little nook and cranny. This is just almost, it comes across a little bit as wasteful for you until you're brought to this meeting room. And within this meeting room, you see a number of different humans, Arquins, dwarves, all kind of wearing the same kind of golden, kind of scaled shirt. And then you see in the middle of the room, sitting in this chair, not quite a throne, but definitely kind of in the center of the room. You see this, to what you looks like a giant, but you know him as Zarvog. He's the hiss that has kind of claimed this sector, and you see as he notices you all coming into the room, he looks at you and with kind of a booming voice goes, "You who took the job, appreciation for you coming through for the people in my sector. Please come, sit. There's much to discuss."
Yes, allow me to take a seat. And for the people, always for the people. We work for the people. We also work for a good bit of money, but the money goes to the people, so no issue there. I should sit down now.
You can see he goes, "Of course, money, people, all things to be gathered and distributed when you must." And he kind of flexes his arms. And I think I forgot to say, this guy is ginormous. He's about 16 foot tall, golden scaled. And you see kind of the shirts these people are wearing kind of matches the, not quite as lustrous, but definitely matches the hue of his scale, as almost definitely identifying them as part of his group, his horde, we'll say. So you see kind of all that going through. He waves you to a seat of chairs kind of in front of him, and he goes, kind of leaning forward, a big claw across his face, and goes, "Well, it's good that you have come. I've lost contact with a sector in my space. This cannot stand. These people are under my protection. I am their defender. Fortunately, I've got so many things going on in the sector that I cannot send my own resources. But you lot are, I've heard that you're quick, efficient, a little hefty sum, but it seems like you get the jobs done. Is that right?"
That's absolutely right.
And with that, I'll get my second question for the group. What was your last job and how did it go?
If I can take over at least the how did it go, I think we did it beautifully. It got done. Well, I can't quite say perfectly. It's like one of those things where you could have something brand new, or you modify it yourself and have it better than new. We were better than new. We got it done. Better than new. Yeah, we'll go with that.
few extra specifications on there that weren't intended, but you got it done.
Maybe there was a shipment of Zro that got taken by some pirates. But because we're so used to dealing with Zro at the station, we were able to track down who the pirates had sold it to and retrieve it without anyone involved in that illegal transaction knowing any better and get it back to its rightful owner.
So we were able to steal it back and force, because I mean, I don't know, if I'm a criminal organization and I'm sending my thing to somebody else, to another criminal organization, and they say, where is it? And I say, what do you mean, where is it? You have it. Where is it? And then, kicked off.
We may have started a little bit of a conflict between gangs, but we may have also came out with more throw than we had intended to pick up in the first place.
Sure, yeah,
Right.
we got more than that, more than they were missing, and then some.
So
And to
so
stabilize the gangs.
yeah, so the pirates came and stole one of our ships. The problem is our ships are not the ones you should steal because the life support doesn't work half the time. So we tracked the ship down and all the pirates were dead, and we took our Zro back and what they had on them.
You guys doubled up on the shipment of Zero, bringing back enough to earn some extra loot for the station, and started a pirate gang war with the gangs did not receive their shipment of Zero, which has reduced thefts and pirating along the sector, though there have been some outbreaks of violence. So, as I said, you didn't buy it new; it's refurbished, but it's somewhat like new.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see Zarva kind of look through and goes, I heard about your work with those pirates. Masterfully done. You got this roll back. Those who would steal from others' hordes are fighting amongst each other. Perfection. I need you to bring that same out-of-the-box spirit to this mission. He kind of looks at you guys each in your eyes. As I've said, the sector has gone dark. I need you lot to go through and figure out what has happened to my people. Some worry that it's the fabled Star Eaters come to life. I worry it is pirates, if I'm being frank with you. It's an agricultural colony, and there has been at least a decent bit of growth in their trade and revenue coming in. So I want you to go investigate, find out what has taken place there. If it's pirates, do your best to liberate what you can of my people, at least bring word of who these pirates are. If it is the Star Eaters, help as many evacuate as you can.
If it was Star Eaters, then that would be quite bad. So let's just say it's pirates, and we have expertise with pirates. We'll get those pirates wiped out. No problem.
Whatever the problem may be, we'll handle it one way or another.
And we'll get it done quick too. I have a rock carving class back at our station I want to get back to, and I wouldn't miss it for the galaxy.
Well,
Rock carving? Are these precious metals you're carving up?
Yeah, there's a class of about 30 of us that carve rocks into different shapes and ways that are meaningful to us. And I kind of turn to the other people in the party. These lots wouldn't understand.
I understand it's a bit of a waste of time.
See what I mean?
Well, however we might feel about it, this is not the place to discuss it. You're here for us and our services, not the goings on about our day to day, right? Come on, guys.
Oh, yes. The job, yes, we'll get that done.
See Zarvog nod. He goes, yeah, quite right. Not so worried about the day-to-day, but my people, my colony, it needs to be protected. And I'm entrusting that to you. You've earned your reputation. If you are able to come through, find me news, bring me back some of my people and chase off these pirates that have hounded the system, I will provide you with precious metals, gold credits, iridium, whatever you need as payment for this task.
And we're going to do everything we can to earn your business, sir. You bet on it.
You kind of see like this human that gestured in kind of come up, and you see he brings out this data pad, and you kind of see Zarvok almost turns his attention away as this human comes up. The human goes, well, quite right. So glad that you guys are taking on the job. He points to the data pad. You kind of see it flashing with credits, kind of sums of money and figures. He goes, Zarvok doesn't really like to be involved in negotiations, so I do that for him. With this, we think that you going out into the colony, figuring out what has been done, that shall be worth, let's say, 30,000 credits. With that, if you're able to bring any people back with you, we will earn an extra 60,000 credits, bringing the total up to 90,000 credits for being able to go through, find out what's going on at the space station, save people if need be saving, or route the pirates. 90,000 credits seems like a very acceptable sum with your resources and standing.
Does that pass the sniff test, Tegan?
You know it's not insulting, but it is a little low.
Now, I know that you handled the negotiations for Zarvog. I understand that. However, this is a matter that requires haste, expediency. We're here. You can get good, you can get fast, you can get you can get good, fast, cheap. That's a triangle of 3. You only get 2 of those. You want good and fast? It is not going to be cheap.
Give me a manipulation check here.
All right. Manipulation.
Is there anything I can use to help? Oh, goodness,
Nice.
Never mind, you do not need that help.
Solid. Yeah, you got to see as the human kind of starts tapping on the data pad. He goes, well, quite right. We did call you in a hurry. You did drop other jobs to come through. Can I say, like, briefly look at Zarvog before tapping on the data pad again, and it goes, we'll add in an extra 30,000, and we will add that to just figuring out what happened to the space station. So that'll bring it to 60,000 for kind of covering what happened, another 60,000 for bringing people back, bringing your total up to 120,000 credits.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about that.
Right. I thought they truly cared about their.
And this is to our officer, not to the negotiator here.
I thought they truly cared about their horde, their people. And you want to push it a little more to see if they have a bit more in their coffers? Or is this what you want, Captain?
I mean, look around. I'm sure they've got it in their coffers and then some. Meet us at 150. Obviously, we're not asking for anything up front. This is only if we're successful. And if we end up like the other crews that you sent out, you haven't lost anything. Just think of it as more motivation for us to succeed.
All right, give me one last manipulation check there. Do you want to push it, or are you happy with it?
I'll push it.
Nice. And the stress die came through for you. I like how they show the yellow of the stress die. Yeah, so you kind of look through, just give you kind of your kind of most charismatic push on this one. And you see he looks through, you can see he looks up once again to Zarvog, and you hear kind of this grumble from the large Duran. And he goes, well, I guess that can be accommodating. Okay. 150,000, as you said, paid if you return, with news of our people. And we'll say still 60,000 that is dedicated to you returning back with some of our people if it is worst comes to worst, the Star Eaters, or routing the pirates if it is just pirates. Does that feel acceptable to you all?
It certainly does. I appreciate your understanding.
Perfect. All right. Well, we will provide the coordinates to your ship. It will be most eager to hear what you have to say. And who's probably the most observant of the crew, you think? Who's one that's kind of always watching?
I've got 2 in observation.
Darwin's got 1, but high wits.
I've also
So
got 4 wits.
Oh, so we're tied. Heck yeah.
I'm just gonna test the scene and make sure that rolls work. Okay. Yeah. That's what I wanted to
You
make
should
sure.
have. You should have.
I'm gonna use
Get
that.
that
for the next-
one.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it automatically put in my stat. So okay.
Yeah, it calculates the stats for you. The Foundry thing did a really good job with this one.
Yeah. They
But yeah, so it sounds like Ray and Darwin, you guys have the best kind of just observational skills. You see kind of like not in like the same kind of orange and gold scaled shirt. You see like this Arquin. He is in like a pretty fancy black and white robe, kind of almost waiting, almost just outside the meeting room. And he catches both of your eyes and kind of gives like kind of jerks his head back a little bit, like just kind of gives that like come over here type look. Whenever you get a moment. But as you look at the human, you see Zarvog finally turns back around, and he goes, well, thank you for looking after my people. I wish you well, and may the lanes ever be open to your graces. And you kind of see he gives a small nod of his head before going back to his business. Is there anything that you all want to say to him, or get information you want to get from him, or his aide before heading out of this room?
Well, does anybody want to do any? I mean, go before I throw in.
Go for it.
All right. Well, is there any way that you could provide the last bits of communication that were sent out, maybe a few hours before things stopped altogether? I want to see what we can piece together from that, if anything.
You see the human nods and kind of scrolls through the data pad, and he pulls up kind of like the last transmissions from the station. And you all know that like it usually requires there's 2 primary methods for communicating through across the galaxy, we'll say. Ancient tech, which can kind of reach across the stars, as well as the kind of the MKs, people who have kind of are able to harness this power. You see, they kind of pull up these reports, and the reports are like somebody writing down almost like a journal more than like communications. You see, this guy reads through last impression from zone, so the sector indicates that from pretty much everything was fine. They were communicating about the crop yield, kind of position of the kind of the weather within the environment, everything that kind of typically would come from an agricultural colony within Zarvog's horde. The last impression that we got, though, was we've struggled deciphering it. Our MK was able to read confusion, panic, and then nothing. It typically when these impressions are sent, we're able to keep the dialogue going and get more than just kind of emotional imprints. But we've tried to raise him. We've tried continually sending to him, and so far nothing has been returned.
Well,
Sounds like you need a better MK.
You hear Zarvog, like he doesn't address it, but you definitely hear him like not like low growl, like it's like a just kind of a low growly rumble in his throat, and you kind of see the human perk up and goes, no. People in Zarvog's employ are of the finest sort. There must be something interfering with
perhaps, perhaps your MK is just in poor health for some reason. That's all.
That has happened. It hasn't happened to Zarvog's work, but it's the Zro. It's been hard to keep some of our MKs out of, or the MKs in general, out of Zro, and some have succumbed to its appeal, and it has been known to weaken the mind.
Ooh, well, if you require something that is more consistent in its consumption of Zero, technologies for communications are always available in the certain markets, and well, MKs have their own appeal, and the certain age-old technologies, from the. I always hate recommending them, but the corporations, whatever keeps you in contact with your people and helps you hold Zabal.
You see, kind of the human goes, well, we will consider that, but you must be on your way. Zarvog has very many things to do today, so we appreciate your help, crew, and the payment will be awaiting for you on your return, and I look forward to seeing you, hopefully alive and well. You kind of see, like, him starts like not shooing you out, but definitely kind of like starts kind of like doing that move towards the door thing, like when the people are trying to get you out. He's trying not to make sure you do the Midwest goodbye. Like he's like pushing you towards the door.
Yeah.
Oh, I set up now. Yeah, I put that in the seat. Okay, let's go.
But as he's pushed you, or after you guys leave the meeting room, you do see kind of like waiting outside these kind of big steel doors. You see that Arquin in this kind of these fine black and white robes. You see he's got kind of at the point between classy and tacky looking jewels across his kind of bug-like appendages and neck. It's on that border. It's like you can't tell if he's just wealthy and living it up, or if he's just trying to live or just display that life. And he does look at you all and go, "Well, now, I couldn't help but overhearing that you all are going to be looking into Zarvog's lost sector. Is that true?"
By the look of it, you know it is.
Well, I mean, one must stay in the know or fall behind. And he kind of gives like a sniff, like just an obnoxiously loud sniff as he looks towards you, Darwin, and kind of your, let's say, less than reputable clothing. But the reason for our little parlay here is if you're going to be going out there, I represent some interest within the corporate authority. We're very curious to learn about the Star Eaters. And as I said, it could be pirates, but from what our sources say, it is likely the Star Eaters. I wouldn't say we care nothing for the residents in the colony, but we're willing to pay a hefty sum for readings, information, and any technical findings or artifacts, let's say, that you can relieve the Star Eaters from. We need to we're looking for more information about these creatures so we can defend our planets, our star system. systems. And 150,000 credits, I mean, that's what he's offering you there. I know a little bit about you and your station. Let's just say I will move your station for you. If you can bring me this data, bring me any artifacts or anything that you can related to the Star Eaters, and watch the process. Watch how they do what they do. We would like to see if you could record that for us before making your way outside the system. Is it? We'll solve your problems all in one day for you.
You've got very good hearing, stranger.
Oh, I said,
Almost as good as your offer.
It pays to be in the know. It pays to pay attention to those who are doing what should be in the know. Is it? We'll take care of that for you. There is a little bit of stipulation. We want your boots on the ground to observe, but scientific process and all that, we don't really want you to interfere too much. We'd like you to figure out what, if anything, they do with the people, any artifacts, or any of the ancient technology upon the planet. But we don't really want you to stop or help, if that makes sense. You know, have you ever watched a nature documentary where the
There it is. There's the corporation spin to it. There's the cost. As a fellow Arquin, you have to agree that it does become rather cumbersome, the cost of innovation. I'm looking over to my captain side-eye of me. I'm going to stop talking.
Captain, is it just want you to watch, observe, and while his appearance may be dated, Darwin has a point. Innovation does come with a cost. Would you rather protect the galaxy as a whole with the information you can provide, or save a few refugees?
Well, that certainly is a mighty tempting offer. Maybe I could just get rid of all the mirrors in my house. I don't know. Well, let's say we decide to take you up on your offer. What will be the best way to contact you?
You see, he kind of hands you over a chit, but the chit doesn't look like one that would fit into your ship at all. And you guys know for your ships, you got to have like short range communications, things you can kind of communicate within a sector, or not within a sector, within like a planet, within kind of like a small area of space pretty easily, but it's something that can really reach across the stars. The chip that he hands you, though, does look like it could fit into one of those ancient pieces of technology that are able to kind of transmit across the galaxy. And your station does have one of those. It probably costs a lot for them to maintain it, but it's something they've been able to hold on to.
All right.
And he goes, use this. Reach out to me, and if you have the data, we will send ships, we will send resources, we will move your station and put it back in its proper place within our galaxy.
Roughly speaking, would our characters have a sense of how much it would cost to do something like that on our own?
Definitely, you guys would know. Like, this is probably, I don't know, depending on how your characters approach it, it may be like a little board you have with kind of like the sum needed to retrofit the station. It's fairly absorbent. Like, this is going to be, it would take 2 million credits to be able to retrofit the ship, the station, and kind of move it across the galaxy. So you have 2 million credits remaining to be able to do that.
Maybe we could get away with both.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, maybe.
You're interested in seeing how the Star Eaters interact with people. That's part of the data you want us to gather. How many people need to be affected for your data to be satisfactory? Can we say some and tell Zarvog that the rest we did our best and couldn't help out?
Oh, well, for our data, think of a nature documentary where you see a cat prowling upon a herd of antelope. We want to see what happens if that cat does he kill one antelope and he's done? Does he kill 3? Does he kill them all? We don't know. So, of course, defend yourself. So you have the data. You're important. Outside of that, be that observer. Be that natural documentary.
We'll see what we can do.
Captain, we're talking about this when we get on the ship.
So Kaladin's just kind of taking this in, almost just like blinks a few times, like he's processing it. Then he just kind of shrugs, looks at Rydell, says, "Boss, your call," and then just walks towards the ship.
Yeah. Well, if we can get that information for you, you'll be hearing from us.
Well, I hope to hear from you all soon. Yeah, good luck. You guys see him like twirl his little robe, and then he starts to walk across the station, allowing you all to make your way back to your ship.
All right.
In the ship, Darwin is pacing and like back and forth, while like ranting and mumbling before he finally like calls out, "Okay, I understand why. Somewhere in that humanoid brain of yours, you can fathom this offer. You can almost accept it because your people kill each other all the time and let each other die. There's so many of them. It's so hard to keep track. And then, by the time it takes my species to pupate, you've already went through a generation and a half. Yeah. And for me and Aquin, I can't say I don't see the benefit of this to the galaxy. However, call it a little bit of learned empathy from your race too. It is appalling to me, even the idea of letting a Star Eater wipe out an entire colony. Because let's be real, it's a Star Eater. It doesn't just. It's not gonna just go and take out, let's say, a couple dozen. It's going to wipe out the entire colony. It's a Star Eater, or worse, it will take people. Do you have any idea how horrifying that is? Because if it takes people, it's got to be used for them. What's the use for them? I don't want to know. I don't want to be the ones to find that out. Captain, am I going too fast for you, or do you understand?
No, I'm with you. People are mean to each other. We kill each other all the time. You're terrified of the prospect of knowing, which is weird for a scientist. But, whatever.
Listen, I'm always good for innovation, but this cost is a bit too high when it's an entire colony of people, especially people that no, these people they're making food for the rest of the galaxy. If you can't eat, you die.
Well, realistically, how many people could we fit in our ship?
You guys could probably fit, like, if you gotta really pack them in, because you got probably, it's an old ship, is probably mostly for like merchant type things before you all turn it into your mercenary vessel. You could probably fit about 50 like additional people aboard your ship.
How many?
50.
50. All right. Darwin, let's say we lie to
He never gave you his name.
I never gave you know what? We lie to our potential benefactor. We didn't interfere. Or we lie and say there were too many and they would have killed us if we didn't take them on the ship. They were in a position, and we can finagle it. And at the end of the day, what are they going to do? Call us out? If we get the information that they need, right? which is how Star Eaters work and what they do to people, blah, blah, blah. If we give them enough of that.
Another human trait, the stretching of the truth like that. Also a trait favorable in an Arquin. Not favorable is breaching a contract. Do you know what they'll do to you? Do you know what they'll do to me? Well, you won't get the full experience of it. How much life do you have left in you? 10 years, 20? I like a blink. I got another decent 100 in me. Do you know how many places I'm already banned from? If I need healthcare, I am completely screwed.
Well, yeah. Look.
And you're okay with dabbing me?
No, it's not
because
that.
you don't see.
You're okay, hold on, easy.
What if our medic, her children and grandchildren, that's going to come back onto them. Even.
And there's supposed to be like a who's your buddy and who's your rival. I feel like for Darwin, his buddy is the captain and his rival is the medic. So him pulling this out is like trying to pull out the big guns. Oh yeah, our medic has kids. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
You're digging deep in that empathy bag, buddy.
It's taking a lot of power, yes.
Okay, look. If we can manage to complete both, we complete both. If we can only do one, yeah, no, I guess it's probably easier to just get the hell out of there. And I don't want to die. And I'd rather collect 150,000 credits than die pursuing 2 million.
It's really hard for me to say no to that much because it's not just 2 million; it's the entire station moved for us, likely in a favorable position. And as you said, I'm a scientist. I want to see what happens, but it's your decision, Captain. You know my feelings. Well, I know my feelings. I'm fighting against my instincts here, but decisions on you. It'll be your council citizen. What did you say? Take away all the mirrors in your room. I'll do that now. Think hard on it.
No, you brought up the whole lifespan thing. I got another 40, 50, unless you're realistic, maybe another few hours, the way things are going right now. And I'd like to see that station.
How are you? Wait. How old are you?
40. I don't know. I lost track.
You're a speck of dust to me. Humans, it's almost insane.
And he's just going back to pacing and mumbling, slowly like back and forth towards your room, but still clearly listening to you.
Well, what I'm trying to get at, Darwin, is I'd like to see it in my lifetime. And the rate we're making money, probably not going to happen. If we can manage to finagle our way to get some corporation to do it for us for some information, great. Maybe we lie to them a little bit. Like corporations don't lie. Come on now. They stretch the truth. They bend it. They do what they need to. So do we. So does everyone. Just don't make a hole pacing back and forth. Don't wear down the hole pacing back and forth. Take it easy. Do whatever it is the hell you all do to relax. Try that.
And do you have any more of those human cigars? Those help tremendously.
Yeah.
That's a little callback to the first doodle of an Arquin I did.
Yeah, I remember that. It's like, it's going to be a long flight. I'll join you for one. Why not? And I guess we'll leave it there. Unless anybody else has... Well, Kaladin made his position clear. So... it's like...
Yeah. So he would just kind of comment. He would just go... well, Rydell, you were correct about one thing. You can have cheap, you can have good, or you can have fast. And he's not offering cheap. So do you think we're the only ones that he's asking to get that information?
Well, is anybody stupid enough to go in there if there's a Star Eater there?
We might be the only right now, but we're not the first.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a damn good point. Other people,
I know. I
Or,
I know. I wouldn't pick us for our first choice.
hell, I wouldn't pick us for our first, second, or third, or fourth choice. But shut up, right? But we're here, we're present, and they're willing to pay top dollar and then some. I'm just saying, if we can manage, great. Look at that. We get to hang up the mercenary hat. Or I get to hang up the mercenary hat. You probably keep mercenarying because look at you. I think I'm sure every pocket's full of a grenade or something. I don't know. It looks like you're born and bred for it. Me, I'm getting old. Things hurt. I'm tired of this. I think,
You're old. You're old.
relatively speaking, I get it. You live forever. Shut up. Every day.
I live for. Could a medic please explain to him?
I'm close to
why?
the end of
Like,
my life. You get there. I'm close. I'm past the halfway point. Okay, there. Do I need like a timeline? Okay, I'm more than 50% dead. I swear with a scientist.
Kaladin
Big
just
brain.
shrugs.
Doesn't understand relativity.
Just shrugs. He goes, well, as a mercenary, you've made it to 40. You're doing something right. You might want to stick with that.
Fair enough. I don't know what the hell I'd do.
You can thank me for that.
Yeah. Well,
Despite your best efforts to get knocked out earlier. Hope I don't have to patch you up another 3 times on this one mission alone. And hey, maybe I'll be done patching you up for good if we can get the data that the corporation wants.
yeah. I mean, you're good at stitching, but I sure am tired of new scars.
Well, listen, at some point we're going to be put in a situation where we're going to have to decide between letting the Star Eaters do their thing, if there are any, or saving people. And if we save any of Zarvog's people, to me, that's just putting the knife to our own people's throat. So I came here to protect the people and help the people from our station. That's what I intend to do.
That's what I'd like to do. But, I want my cake, but I'd like to have it too. Is that how it goes?
humans always wish for instant gratification.
It's dopamine, man.
Do you even? Does your people even use reusable resources?
I mean, yeah, we live in a space station. I guess we kind of have to.
And he again mumbling complaints that aren't even audible and are understandable. Could be his language, probably isn't.
It's an approximation of his language, maybe. All right, well, Cal, we got a hell of a flight ahead of us, so by all means.
And he would nod and go sit in the pilot's seat.
Calvin, you're able to boot up the ship, getting this kind of lumbering hulk of a ship kind of up into the air and deftly maneuvering it out of the space station, kind of back into the blackness of the stars. The few-day journey to the wormhole is pretty uneventful as you guys cross the sector of space, making your way towards the wormhole that will take you towards towards the sector of space you need to go to. And you will, this isn't your first time through one of the wormholes, kind of the left behind black holes that the pavers create as they crisscross the stars. But every time a little bit unique as you go through. Because as you kind of make through, kind of crossing the barrier of this black hole, kind of surrounded by this crackling energy that almost seems like a kaleidoscope of color, sometimes appearing blue, sometimes green, sometimes black as the deepest night, other times bright as the brightest day, all shifting around you, just haphazardly and chaotically as you spend a few hours traversing space, crisscrossing the stars of the galaxy. And with that, I'm going to ask you guys the last question as well. Have you ever lost anybody? Has anybody, was there anybody a part of this group before that has died? And how so? How did they, if so?
Given that Kaladin's pretty new, maybe we had a dwarf pilot beforehand.
I feel like yes to the dwarf pilot, but I feel like it makes sense for our crew, especially with not being the first, third, fourth, fifth pick for most people. What if we've lost a lot of people over time? What if we were a much bigger crew? Because as I said before, this used to be a merchant vessel.
Well, it seats 50.
Yeah. We're five. We could have been a little bit of a guild at first. Actually,
That makes sense. The space station kind of sent all of its able-bodied people out, kind of trying to find jobs to earn money, and you four are the creme de la creme, or the all that's left.
I kind of like it's a genuine all that's left. Like each one either passed or did all they could and had to tap out. Like versus like just us being incompetent. But I want to hear everyone else's thoughts to that.
That is hilarious, though. Just well, we're down to less than 10% strength, but we're still in it, boys and girl. I forgot that the medic is the equivalent of an alien lady with children.
It probably is, especially the big hulking ship like that. Just 4 people, and for those who may have been from the start, where it was kind of more bustling, more filled with crew and chatter, it just kind of a little broken up now.
I mean, I imagine that we're ardent supporters of wanting the space station to succeed. Maybe a lot of people weren't. Maybe a lot of people just said, 2 million? I want to go work at Space Target, or whatever. Like, I'm not gonna do that and risk my life to move this hunk of metal. Who cares? Nerds. And just, piss off.
The nerds part of that sent me, sorry.
No worries. Like, it's like, I can see like it being, almost like a lost cause. Like maybe some people on the space station, like, oh man, we're like, we're gonna win the lotto any day now. Just gotta keep trying. We'll get there. And it's like, yeah, whatever, dude. Shut up. We're gonna die in this. You're gonna live and die in this. The station's gonna move a centimeter.
I feel like it started off like enthusiastically with people like, yeah, we'll go out there and save that space station, but then the jobs came in and just little credits rolling through, and that goal just ever out of sight. And then people started abandoning the space station. Some people quit our jobs with you guys just to get to like a civilized point of space to leave.
So we're the ones who genuinely, truly cared enough to stick to our goal then.
Yep.
And willing to do whatever it takes, even if it means sacrificing some people under this hiss. At least that's my perspective on it.
Let's watch a planet die.
For science.
Just sit there and wow, that's sad.
I feel like maybe there's an economic incentive. Like maybe when we started this, the space station was worth a lot, and like we were all like owners of it. Like we had small stakes in it, and then some people cashed out their stakes early on, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna sell my ownership stake and move on. You guys good. But then as people left, we realized that we're not gonna make it, and the stakes aren't worth anything, and people just started bailing. Like, they're just like, all right, good luck, guys. I'll sell you my steak for 1 credit.
We're all 25% overs of like a 1986 Chevy Tahoe. That's on cinder blocks.
I was just about to say that.
On cinder blocks, a little bit of rust, but just to keep it interesting. I don't know. It seems like maybe we are competent. It's just our ships look like shit. Our station looks even worse. We're competent people, but think of a very competent tradesman, but he shows up in a truck that is all rusted to hell, and the shocks keep squeaking even when he steps out of the thing. Just thinking competent, but man, why do you guys look so terrible? Because all of our money is going to moving the station. I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You guys now being part owners as well.
Yeah.
Wrapping up them shares.
Yeah, right. 75% owner of a shit heap. What is our shit heap? Actually, that's the name of the station, Shit Heap. No, no kidding.
It's just what we affectionately call it.
Perfect. Well, you all are able to kind of make your way through this wormhole. And so the kaleidoscope of colors, usually the ships do a good job of compensating for gravity as you're crossing the stars. But in wormholes, at some points you feel light, some points you feel heavy. For those with kind of easy stomachs to turn, you can feel a bit queasy as you're going through this. Almost feels like some people said they've gained weight. Some people said they've lost weight. Some people have said that their hair slightly changed colors as they've gone through these wormholes. Some people think it's still a superstition, but there have been small studies to prove. But you always feel just slightly different as you make your way out. And today is no different. As you arrive through the wormhole, you feel just a little bit different, and kind of everything comes alive at once as you kind of come through the other end. You look out across the viewport and you see the blackness of space broken up by two things. First, you see the planet, this agricultural world with kind of just green and blues abundant, even kind of just from the star field of space. But the thing that catches your eye, because they did provide you with a little bit of information on kind of the solar system and kind of what kind of the usual readings were before leaving Zarvok Space Station. You look out across kind of the expanse of space, and you see the sun. And you see kind of both visually and from your instruments as well. It's not looking good. This should be a healthy yellow sun in its prime. The sun looks to be almost twice the size of what it was measured at just earlier this year. And rather than kind of that healthy yellow glow, it has like an almost orangish blue glow as it kind of just radiates in the distance.
Oh, Star Eaters are real.
These are some fancy ass pirates. Holy shit.
Are we about to witness one of the first sightings of the most terrifying legend in space? Actually, we couldn't see a star eater, the consumer of stars, actually blowing up with the star. I don't know what they do. We might die. We might die here. Okay.
Do you see anything on the sensors about the other ships that were sent here?
Anybody who would like to on this side can make a contact. One person, though, can make a contact roll.
Oh, look, there's already a roll there. Wow. 3 6s? That's wild.
I got a contact skill with wits 5 and a skill 3, 8 dice to roll.
Okay.
May I go for
Tell you.
Yeah.
Nice. There you go.
We'll take it.
Darwin, you boot up the scanners and you see a number of different things. The first thing is you see luckily the planet right now seems to be safe from the increased radiation and energy readings that are coming off the sun. Definitely it's like hotter down there than it normally would be. Kind of from your readings, you'd guess it's like 20 to 30 degrees hotter than typical. So still a little uncomfortable, but not like it's going to fry you in the system. So that's the first thing you notice. You also notice 3 other things on the planet. One of them, definitely one of them is the most typical reading you've come across. That looks to be another ship. Its engines are kind of like running, not actively flying anywhere, but you could tell it's landed on the ground. Engines are running, power is up, like almost it's ready to do a hot takeoff whenever it needs to. You sense that kind of like, and kind of mashing it with the data that Zarvok provided you, it's a couple miles outside the major city center for this agricultural world. So that reading makes perfect sense to you. In the middle of the city is a reading you've never really seen before. It is at once kind of like, at once it looks like almost pure unrefined Zro. Like it just feels like pure, just straight energy, but then it's just chaotic. It is tweaking up, tweaking down, tweaking up, tweaking down. Each time you look at it at the readings, it feels like it just kind of edges and flows, almost like the tide. It is definitely, if you looked at a comparison from kind of like the Zro that you guys found of that pirate job you did, and comparing it to the readings here, at its highest, or kind of when it gets to one of its ebbs, or on that side, it exceeds it significantly. Third thing you notice, and this one looks to be like kind of an older, kind of like you sense some residual energy, some kind of like just flight trails, but definitely it looks to be like about a week old at the earliest. You do see kind of what looks to be, you'd have to get closer to investigate, but it looks to be, you'd guess a ship. It shows you kind of where its last trajectory or last point of contact was. You could see some like the engine trails and all of that leading to it. But right now you're getting kind of minimal readings, almost no power coming from it.
All right, Darwin will relay that to the crew in a slightly terrified tone. More than slightly. Very terrified.
Okay. So, I'm an agricultural farmer. My sun starts to change color. There's a Star Eater. Why haven't I left?
Are we able to jump back out?
I'm sorry, what? Said it a little louder?
Oh, Darwin would have just said,
Pilot, are we able to jump back out, or is there interference?
So 2 pieces, yeah. Kaladin, you would never know if your ship's kind of right now. If you turned right around, you could go right back into the wormhole. You don't see anything that would stop you from doing so. To the other point, though, Darwin, as you look at the scanners, the 2 ships that I've mentioned, the one that you saw kind of like idling on the ground, and the other were kind of like, you found the flight trail to where it last was. The reason you were able to find that flight trail so easily for the being a week old is there's no flight trails leaving the planet that you could see from the last. With that roll, you'd pretty much guarantee the last 2 weeks. Both have been going down.
yep. He'll relay that with,
They only go 2. No one's gone off. So, had to at least make sure that we could turn back, in case we need to drop this job. But if we jump onto that planet, if we get boots on the ground, I'm not sure if we can get back off unless maybe I'm wrong. Let's hope I'm wrong. I'm wrong all the time. Don't agree to that.
All right. Okay.
Do we have anything on our ship that's like either like spacesuits for moving outside of it, or like a escape pod type thing, or anything that could like move through space on its own, separate from the ship itself? Or is the ship just kind of the one unit we have for moving through space?
You do have spacesuits, but you don't have like you've got like escape pods, but not ones that could like you could shoot out from the ship, but they wouldn't get you back up to the ship.
Gotcha. And then the spacesuits, would they need to be like tethered to the ship itself, like just if it comes up? I'm curious.
Yeah,
Or-
they're tethered. You'd try to find some way to keep yourself to the ship, and they wouldn't really. They're not suited for re-entry to a planet either.
Okay. So for the in this scenario where if we land on the planet and are stuck, would the escape pods probably wouldn't have the thrust needed to like escape the atmosphere of the planet or anything like that. If
They likely
the
wouldn't.
ship's engines are disabled somehow. So that's definitely
We escape orbit and then we suffocate, 5 hours later, orbiting the planet. It's like, we get to die with a view. Crap. All right, I'm thinking.
Kaladin would just say, "Oh, I can get us on the planet. I don't know what happens after that."
Is there anything resembling communications coming out? Any sort of distress, anything?
You do see 2 communications, no roll necessary to find them. One is this kind of you pull it up and probably cut it off nearly as quickly as you can. It's like this repeated, like almost like dial-up style screeching. Like it's this loud burr, blare. It kind of burrs, blares, and screeches. If for some reason you listen to it for kind of repeat for a minute, it also repeats itself, with the same burrs, blares, and screeches in the same order. The other one, you see, this one's been playing on repeat for about a week. It is kind of a mayday. Just mayday, ship down, please help, and then coordinates. And those coordinates match up with where Darwin found the ship that went to planet a week ago.
Like, I know we're gonna end up on the planet because we're slated for 3 sessions. It'd be a very short if we just turned around and said, "Hey, Zarbog, get the Star Eater." But I'm like, man, I really don't want to go down there. I'm just like, man, it sucks to be these people. Vroom. Like, I don't know. I'd slap this thing in reverse and just
Take some pictures and
it's
call
like,
it a good.
Yeah, well, make sure they're nice and blurry, right? Make sure you put the thumb on the lens, because that's what you do with fables and myths, right? You take crappy evidence photos. All right.
Well, look, you cowards. Danger or no, the fate of our station is here. So we need to get down there, get all the information we can find. We'll figure out a way back. And if you're too afraid of that, there's the escape pod. I'll take the ship down.
Wow. You just, man, all right. Wow. Okay. Is this just like I'm not even gonna argue with you. All right, I guess. Kaladin, take it in slow, and please make note of any sort of changes to the feel of the ship as you're making your way in. Just take it in nice and easy. We don't know why they haven't left. Maybe they're still there and they can't take off, or maybe, well, who knows?
So you can tell Kaladin is definitely kind of relaxed, but focused. Shrug and he'll say, "Got it. I'll do my job." And then he'll just start approaching the planet.
You always do.
Perfect. So you start to make your approach to the planet. And I should I mentioned too. So like you've noticed there's kind of four central points around the planets, at least from what you picked up on the scanners. You know about the city itself. Kind of this is their prime. And cities being generous, but this is their prime kind of population point upon the planet. With from the scanners within that city is that very strange energy fluctuation that almost feels like Zoro, but like a little bit more unstable. You've got the point where the other ship kind of sent out potentially went down and sent the mayday, and then you've got the point where there's another ship outside of the city, a few miles, that is kind of idling. Where are you guys headed?
Are we able to send communications down to either the city or either the ships, or like establish a connection to do so?
You could try to communicate on that side. From the city, you just get static. From the down ship, you get the repeated mayday. From the ship that's idling, silence.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we should check out the idling ship first. Oh, what everyone else is thinking.
All right, so I don't know how much we can tell from here, but how long would a ship that is idling stay idle for?
So you would have to kind of see kind of what fuel and power reserves. They've got it. Basically, what they've got it right now is they've got it all and just kind of ready to take off at a moment's notice. So it's just like usually when you get the ship, you power down, cut the engines, conserve fuel. They've got everything kind of ready to hit the stakes and fly if they need to.
Okay. Well, I am curious to see if the idling ship if there's anything to it. Maybe it's better than ours. Maybe this is an upgrade. Yeah, oh, look, this is a better one. We have a new one. So, unless anybody has any objections, which I'm please voice them. I'm with Galadin, and I'm saying we should check it out.
I suppose if that's
No
the
objections.
best plan you can come up with, we have to go for it.
I mean, we could try just taking a general sweep of the planet, but if there's something nefarious there, we just draw its attention. I don't know. I'm not sure what we're dealing with. I mean, okay, so I know that we as players and stuff like that discussed the lore of the Star Eaters and their hordes of nameless. What do people in general know about that?
Fortunately, the only records right now about the Star Eaters have been captured from afar, basically just showing the kind of mechanical creature itself feasting upon the stars. No, and you could probably guess that's why the Arquin are willing to pay you to go to the planet and find out what's happening. Nobody knows what happens to the planet itself, if anything happens to the planet itself.
Yeah. All right, well. You know what? Rescind that last one. Do a flyover of the city and look and try to get us as close as you can so we can take a look at what's going on there. But maybe end up at the idling ship. Does that make sense? Anyone disagree? Agree?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Perfect. So, Kaladin, you're going to be piloting the ship. Darwin, are you on scanners again, pilot?
Yeah, yes. Darwin, up on the scanners.
Yep. Darwin most definitely is. Darwin has the most interest in this, yet the most fear by far. But the moment he gets back on the scanners, as we're getting that flyover, he suddenly just locks in. All of that fear just Gone. Just stone gazed, taking down notes.
I didn't add it to my sheet. I'm sorry about that, but I wanted the ability to be the command one, where you can issue commands as a fast action, so you can, or slow action, so you get 2 per turn. I don't know if that would apply here.
Perfect. Let me pull that up again. As we give orders as a slow action, you can mark actions to another character. Okay, so definitely, so you could definitely do that on that side. You've got a slow roll, so you could definitely give a command even without that as well. So who are you giving that command to?
So, well, I'm guessing I'd be giving the 2 at this point. It'd be one to Cal to fly smooth and steady. Give Darwin enough time to get a good reading on the sensors, and then Darwin, keep an eye out for anything out of the ordinary. We don't know what we're looking for, but there's a reason that there's nobody out and about. There's a reason that ship hasn't taken off, and I want to see what we can find out before we get our boots on the ground.
Perfect. And with that, so Kaladin's flying, Darwin is scanning, Ray is giving some command assistance. Kelru, what are you doing?
Calling us cowards.
Yeah, pretty much. Making fun of everybody. I mean, I can also kind of help look out. Maybe try to do some visual observation while Darwin's focused on the scanners, and just see if we can get close enough to spot anything that the scanners wouldn't catch.
Perfect. Was you all have your kind of assigned task? The ship gets to make its way down, kind of moving through the blackness of space, through the atmosphere of the planet. You feel kind of the rumbling entry as Kaladin kind of expertly leads you down to the planet's surface. And as we do that, you start to, one of the things, Darwin, this isn't even part of the role. You just see this spike just rather quickly. You see almost in tandem with the spike from that city center, you see a kind of almost corresponding spike within the star. So that city center kind of ebbs, and you see the star flow. And you see kind of right as that hits, electronics start to fizzle. It starts to rumble the ship. You start to see the Kaladin, the controls get hot. It starts to rumble against you. Gelkeru, you could start to see kind of sparking lines on the outside of the ship. Kaladin, first give me that piloting roll. Rydell, give me your command with that too. Just kind of how well you keep this ship together as it's all going down.
All right.
Ooh, that's a 1.
Oh, I gotta change my finger. But I got 1 success there.
Perfect. You got 2 successes with Rye, but Rye, you got a 1 on your stress die. So for those who are familiar with the alien system, that means you get some panic. So give me a panic roll. Oh, you're on mute too if you're talking.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Is there a button to do a panic roll, or is it just rolling a 1d6?
Oh, I thought there was a button. Let me check. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Yeah, just give me a...
Oh, if you click on stress on your character sheet.
You need to import the panic table config. Okay, never mind. That's not doing it. No, it doesn't. It didn't let me.
Oh,
It didn't do any. It didn't do anything with clicking on stress.
Perfect. Yeah, so with a panic roll, you roll a d6 and add your current stress level. So your current stress level is 1, or do you gain that after you? 2. Sorry, 2.
So 2d6.
Yeah. Or so 1d6 plus 2. 5. All right. Yeah, you're keeping it together. You managed to keep your nerves in check, but barely. Ray, what kind of what throws you a little bit? What kind of what spikes that adrenaline in you as this is all going on?
Just the dead city, essentially. Like, I'm guessing we're looking at it, there's no indication of life, but it's a population center. You would expect something, but it's just, why is nobody called? Why hasn't anybody reached out saying, "Oh, thank goodness you're here," or said something? Like, it's just the eerie stillness of a whole planet is unnerving.
100%. And one of the things, like, you're still pretty high in the sky, but you're above this city, and yeah, cities should be hailing you. You should be trying to find the right comm channel to avoid chatter, avoid this kind of like ambient city kind of just calm communications. Right now, across all channels, except for that Mayday and the screech, it's dead silence. Above the city, where usually, even in a small agricultural world like this, there would be lifters and kind of ships hauling freight above, kind of both down to the planet and kind of up and away, as well as the agricultural ships gathering their crops. Nothing. It's just still. The only sound, the only distraction right now, the only thing that's out of the norm is your ship as it's kind of hurtling in, kind of bolts of electricity all kind of flaring through. But luckily, Kaladin, with your own kind of piloting skills and very thankfully boosted by Ray's one success there, you're able to keep the ship steady. You are starting to lose altitude, though. It's one of those, like, you feel like there's something going along with the ship's electronics, but you're losing altitude, but you are keeping it in a steep control. It is one that the ship systems seem to be failing you, but you are able to keep it going. But before we go into what you want to do next there, Darwin, give me your comms tech roll as your actually Darwin and Gakelaru can give me their comms tech and observation rolls to see kind of what they notice as they're kind of going through and kind of flying over the city as you're getting lower and lower.
I throw in my command in there as well.
Yep. For Darwin.
I already did it. I hit it. But man, nothing. 10 dice, not a 6.
Would either of you like to push that roll?
Remind me, like a 1 is or 1/6 is a success, but like 2 would make it better, or
That's right. So, not a success. Each 6 counts as a success, but certain things have higher success thresholds.
oh, okay, gotcha. I think I'll stick with my 1.
Darwin, are you holding steady?
I like stress. Stress. Let me give that another roll then.
All right.
So push. Yes.
Ooh, all right.
Damn!
So, yeah.
It
Okay.
works because you probably discover whatever it is, and it's horrifying. Yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, no,
That kind of
I kind of like that. Darwin seeing something and it's just like, oh, shit.
So you all have 2 very different experiences as you look through it. Galkawa, you're able to kind of look using kind of the observation deck, kind of the ship's own kind of natural viewpoints to kind of get a look at the city as you all are kind of hurtling across it. You see a few things that stand out pretty well. The first, as you fly over the city, as you kind of start to look very high level view at the shops, the houses, and things. You don't see movement. You don't see people. You don't see. You don't even see like smoke, fire, or kind of a very quick level. You don't even see a lot of destruction. Like the city just looks abandoned from kind of what you could see at a high level view. Like, it just seems to be abandoned, and the city itself seems to be intact. Darwin, with the scanners, as you kind of kind of run these scanners through what almost dominates the scanner view, and you get an image induced with what the scanners have replicated, you see that point within city center, that one that almost resembled Zro. You get a kind of a grainy image induced by the scanner's AIs to what they believe that would be. It almost looks like a processing plant. Like it looks very alien, even to those who've kind of met the other species. It looks technology that you've never seen, but you kind of see on the outskirts of the processing plant rows and rows of tents, and you see the only life signals that you've come across in this whole city in that sector. And that's about it. But give me your panic roll.
All right. So, where do I roll the panic roll again? Just stress?
Yep, 1d6 plus your stress.
Need to configure panic table. Damn.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's doing that. I got the panic table, but I don't know why it's not working. So yeah, just give me a 1d6.
So, plus one or plus 1d6?
Oh, plus one.
Got it.
So, sorry, plus two, because you panic, you gain an extra stress. But luckily, you're still holding it together. So yeah, you are holding it together. You see, kind of like, I'll let you come to your own conclusion with this kind of what seems to be like alien tech processing plant, rows and rows of kind of tents and survivors of these people being cordoned within this sector of the city. This processing plant looks to be. It almost looks like something dropped it from orbit and it smashed kind of what was there prior. It seems like this probably was more of an open air sector of the city, but whatever was there prior to this processing plant, you could kind of see ruins kind of around it, especially amongst the tent city of those contained within.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Darwin is immensely, well, obviously stressed out about that, and immediately, like, when you say processing plant, like something for fuel?
You would guess, and as it has it feels like a Zero processing plant, but it's not. You've never seen a Zero processing plant give off these readings, especially one that's on planet. It's weird that it's on planet.
Yeah. So he immediately points to it, and then just completely stressed, that stoic gaze breaking for a moment as he almost flinches back from the reading, and he just goes, nature documentary, huh?
So a little bit of context how we're coming in here to help describe the situation. You guys ever done a combat takeoff? High level, you're most dangerous when you're coming in or leaving. And so we're coming in hot, fast, and we're turning sharp. That's how Kaladin is approaching this. So we're coming like darting at the planet, and then a nosedive as we get close to the surface, and a 90-degree pivot the other direction. So as you're kind of witnessing this, that's kind of your point of view coming in.
Perfect, Kaladin.
Yeah, so
Oh, go ahead, Darwin.
I was just gonna react to it like Darwin just shifting side to side as everything's rocking, and just him finally just saying that dreaded line. I have a bad feeling about this.
With that, Kaladin, hearing that bad feeling expressed, you feel your control starting to kind of go looser, kind of start losing their connection to the ship, but you're expertly piloting through it. We're going to need one more piloting check from you, Kaladin. With this, Ray, I assume you probably have a command to give. I will let each of you guys try to help this in your own way. I am going to set the stage for this to end well. You are going to need 5 successes. So,
All right. Well, let me go ahead and start this off here.
Wait.
start us off.
I don't know what the hell that thing is, but I don't want to be stranded there.
You?
Okay, 2's not bad.
Going with the command.
There we
Nice.
go.
So you've gotten at least a goodish. Can you add any extra successes on here to make it better?
Oh.
Darwin, Gokelru, anything that you will think you can do to contribute?
Mechanically, would it just be we make another roll and successes add to it, or
Basically, any success you get will be a +1 to their success count.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So I'm kind of thinking I would like look while you're focusing on breaking through the atmosphere and doing this controlled descent. I'll keep an eye out for like safe landing spots with the terrain of the planet and things like that, trying to understand like if there's like an area of trees that we might want to avoid, or like a very hilly terrain, like looking for a nice flat spot to land on. But also with some cover so that if there's anything out there hunting us, we won't run into any problems. And kind of point Kaladin in that direction.
Perfect. Give me an observation check.
Well, I'll try to push it.
Push it. Oh, that's rough. Fortunately, Kaladin's coming in too quickly. You see the kind of just the bolts of energy crisscrossing the ship after that flare, just making it hard to see, and it's just a pure struggle. Darwin, anything you can add?
Yeah, you know what? Darwin, as we're coming in, is so he's already used Comtech, so he can't use Comtech again, right?
Oh, well, this is kind of helping Kaladin kind of bring the ship in. So scanners probably wouldn't help on that side, but what are you thinking?
I'm thinking more so heavy machinery, just to go down to the engine and make sure we're not going to come apart or blow to pieces here. Would that be helpful, or would it be better to choose a different skill?
No, I think that would help, especially with kind of some of the energy readings kind of playing havoc with the ship's electronics there.
Oh,
Do you want to push?
you know what? I love stress. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah. So these energy readings are going crazy. Oh, actually, Ryan, what do you say? What do you? How do you? What boost do you give Kaladin? What commands are you throwing out here?
Do whatever the hell it takes, but I don't want to know what that thing is. I'm pointing at the people factory. This row is people, or whatever. I don't want to be stranded on there. I don't want to find out why this planet is as dead as it is. Keep this thing up.
So Cal just be like, "You got it, boss." And then as everyone else starts chiming in, he just goes, "Clear comms," and then just starts his maneuver.
Callan, you turn off the comms, and with a bit of expert piloting, as the ships, like the electronics start to go haywire around you, you are able to bring the ship to not just a good landing. You land that thing pretty like solidly. It's not a crash landing at all. There's no damage to the ship. You're able to bring this thing down near perfectly. It's a little out of position for where you want it to be, but the ship itself intact. You're on the ground and just a few miles outside the city itself. And about 2 miles outside the city, and probably about 5 or 3 miles from the city center. So 5 miles total from the city center. Kind of where you found, as Rise called it, the people factory.
Question is, how far are we from the idling ship?
You guys aren't far from there. Probably about 1.5 miles away.
Okay. Well,
So as soon as we touch down, Cal will start going through his kind of, I don't know, his docking or his landing procedures. As soon as he finishes, just complete control, complete calm, and just starts putting on his gear, grabbing his weapons, throwing his armor on, just getting ready to deboard without saying a word.
yep. Yeah. So this is a little unprecedented, right? The whole the Star Eaters are real. There's no one on this planet. What's that thing chuffing out all that black smoke? Or whatever that weird building is. So right now,
you didn't see any smoke around, at least from the sensor's view that Darwin picked up. No smoke, just very intense, very fluctuating energy readings that almost had seems very similar in properties to Zero.
yeah, Rydell is taking in the situation, realizing I should have asked for more credits, and is going to go to his bunk to get his gear and take a swig of some very expensive, well, for him at least, alcohol equivalent. I'm not sure if whiskey's a thing in this setting, but
Keep it easy. We'll say whiskey is.
yeah,
Whiskey, rum, vodka. All the big things aren't named after a country or named after people. Still, sure.
So he'll take a swig of he'll pop it open because it was saving it for a nice occasion, but I don't think he's gonna have any of those. Take a nice swig, say a little prayer, and get ready to venture out.
Kelru goes to her corner of the ship, and with all these little trinkets she has from her children, she puts some of them away and sets them up safely, and then second guesses herself and takes some with her, and then puts some other ones, and it's just kind of reorganizing in a way that is kind of just wasting time and putting off the need to actually get the mission going.
If I organize long enough, I don't have to do anything.
Perfect. Well, you guys are able to kind of get your gear together, get yourselves ready.
Darwin.
Oh, cool.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Darwin.
I said something like a while ago.
I think you may be lagging a bit.
I've not talked for a bit. Yeah.
I can hear you now.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah. What's Darwin thinking?
Oh no.
Doesn't?
Speaking of lagging, yeah, or maybe he refreshed. He's trying to fix it. Who knows?
With that, you guys are able to step out into the ship's or to the world's atmosphere. Well, actually, good spot. We'll take a quick break here. So we'll come back. What's it, 9:06? Come back at like 9:12, and then we'll dive into the last bit for today.
Sounds good.
All right.
Whew.
Welcome
I've enjoyed
back,
talking to you.
everyone, to part 2 of our first session for the Galaxy. Actually, before we dive in, I'm going to throw a link to him as well in the chat. Big shout out to Josh Fetzer. He's been my archive for like 3 years now. Wow, shit. He's done pretty much all. He did my channel logo. He's done Invasion, Occupation, Stranded, Pandemonium, and now the Galaxy's logo. So what you guys are just seeing on screen before, that was all him. So big shout outs to him. I give him vague ramblings of things that I want, and he actually makes it art. So I'll throw his link in there. I think he's still up. I should have asked, but I think he's still open for commissions. Hit him up and let him know I sent you. But with that, we are back to our crew who've just pretty expertly landed, turned a crash into a landing aboard upon this kind of unnamed agricultural colony planet where they saw the sun, where usually it should be a kind of standard yellow orange, is in this blue, orangish blue haze and twice the size, with a city that appears to be abandoned, all but for this factory in its center. It seems like it was airdropped from space, surrounded by this almost tense city that's enclosed within its boundaries, as well as the group noticed kind of making their way to the planet two other ship signatures. One where the ship is kind of still seems like it's running, it's hot, the engines are kind of primed to take off at a moment's notice, kind of about a mile and a half from where the group is now. And then on the other side of the city, presumably crashed into the planet itself with its Mayday signal going off. Another ship signal that appeared to have made its way in planet less than a week ago. The group has just assembled, gotten their gear ready. Actually, Darwin, I think we cut you off a little bit before we went to break. Does Darwin do anything crazy as he kind of gets ready for kind of going into the planet itself?
Yeah. He would just be going over, checking everyone's equipment, making sure that it's not going to immediately fry on first fire. Everyone except our soldier, because he knows better and he does not have the time to check every single piece there. There's a lot. And he finally gets to his own equipment, looks through it, looks at a gun for probably a little longer than that's comfortable before holstering it and stretching out and getting ready.
Perfect. Well, you guys are able to kind of assemble kind of at the ship's airlock, eventually letting down the boarding ramp. And the first thing that hits you, or with three things hit you all at once. The first thing being this heat. It is a mixture of just straight hot and humid. Looking at kind of any of your thermometers or kind of temperature gauges, you would see it's about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. It's hot. It is definitely kind of hotter than it should be for this time of year for the planet. The other thing outside of the heat and the humidity wave that kind of hits you right as that boarding ramp goes down, it's like you kind of get a bit of an odd smell. Again, it's almost like this smells like a mixture of like sulfurish mixed with kind of like this rotting smell that when the winds kick up seem to just kind of just almost overwhelm your senses there. But the third thing, and this was probably like the most surprisingly unsurprising piece, is just how quiet it is. as the airline, or kind of as soon as the docking door goes down, you don't hear any animals. You don't hear the sounds of any other electronics outside of the sounds of your own crew breathing next to you or the shifting of their gear. You're met with this unnatural stillness and silence. How's the group proceed?
You hear that, Darwin? That's a comfortable volume. Not like when you're yapping away all day.
Yes, and same to you with the clinking of all those various
Oh, there it
trinkets.
goes. Not comfortable anymore.
Again, rumbling from Darwin, but he puts his head down at that one. He knows better than to snap back.
You walked into that one, bud. So question regarding the gear. I know that a lot of the stuff that would be in the alien system might not make sense in this setting.
I think we could pretty much, for the level of technology, Alien actually does kind of fit the galaxy for like the manufactured stuff. So we should be able to make pretty much anything make sense with the Alien.
Well, because I mean, I've just got this one option for gear, and I wasn't able to edit my inventory in Foundry, so maybe I was doing it wrong. Sorry about that. But how about a motion tracker? Huh? Yeah, isn't that pretty?
Yeah, motion tracker would definitely fit for the galaxy. What does that do again?
I'm not sure, but oh boy, it feels like something that I would desperately want in my hands right now.
Yeah, if you go to like the items, it's weird. It's not in compendiums like usually it is for most things. But if you go to the items section, it's in there. You can just drag and drop it on your sheet.
You can. Oh,
Okay, I mentioned the gun. It's hitting me now. I actually forgot to do my equipment.
Yeah, I don't
Damn.
see anything in the items tab in Foundry.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
blank.
just showing me. All right, so you guys should be able to see it now.
Yep.
Okay, there we go.
Let me make this. Oh, sorry, guys. I did not realize this was not like viewable. So okay, so if anybody needs to drag over armor, weapons, or anything like that too, you should be able to do that now.
okay. So, items. Yeah, that'll do it. All right. So, M314 motion tracker. Neat. Oh, it's in. Okay.
Give you a second to kind of go through that and see if there's anything you need to pull over.
All right, so let me grab that pistol. Oh. All right. Hey, I got a weapon. Yahoo. Okay. And what is a Segson? Oh boy, there's all this stuff. All this stuff. Oh. All right. Coordinate info. All right, yeah, let's do that. Okay, cool. So the motion tracker here, only detect moving objects. All right, so I'm going to keep that thing turned on, right? And
So
motion.
you got a power supply level of 5 for it.
And you know what else I get? Binoculars. Neat. Okay. So
I'm gonna click something to see, just make sure it works here. So let me hit this. Okay, cool. It does roll for me. Nice.
all right. Well, that's a lot. And let me just find that talent and then call it a. So I would suggest that we make our way to the other ship.
Hey, no arguments here.
Okay.
Especially not from Darwin, who doesn't really look like he's in the mood to argue. He looks more like he's in the mood to run.
Okay.
Perfect. Give me a power supply roll, which I'm trying to remember what exactly that is for your motion tracker. So, let me Google that real quick.
See page 34.
Do you guys ever have that experience where you've got like numlock on and you didn't realize, and you keep trying to type and it keeps like going back? We're like going like end to end.
It's happened.
All right, supply. So page 34 is around supplies. I don't see that as energy supply.
Power roll. We'll come back to that later, I think. For now, we'll just say it is up and running. You've got full power supply there, so you should be good to go. As you guys begin to get off the ship, and as you go ahead.
I'm sorry. I make a roll. Rolling a number of stress dice equal to the current supply rating. For every one roll, the supply rating is increased by 1. When it reaches 0, you're screwed.
Oh, okay. So you've got a power rating of 6 currently.
So
Or 5, sorry.
So
So
I roll 5d6.
Mhm.
All right, so it's down to 4.
Perfect. You see like this kind of familiar motion tracking screen, like this little black and green screen with kind of this expanding kind of aura around you. Luckily, as you kind of get off the ship and kind of met by the heat, met by the smell, you see there's nothing large moving around you at all. And you kind of see like you guys are kind of in the outskirts of the city. You see rows and rows of crops around you, kind of like these kind of shoulder length. It looks to be kind of a mixture, like this weird hybrid of corn as well as kind of like a weedy or like a almost like wheat type vegetable growing around you. And you do see kind of like in within about a mile and a half is where you need to head to find that energy signal. Currently between kind of the crops and some of the kind of just agricultural equipment and outgrowth, you're not able to get a good visual on that ship yet, but within as you start making your way there, you should be able to kind of see it. Perfect. You guys do anything special outside of getting the motion tracker going, or are you guys heading out there?
I think just good for heading out there. I don't feel like any of us would be particularly trying to stealth or anything like that, unless I'm wrong.
Perfect. You guys are. Oh, go ahead.
No. Yeah.
You guys are able to make your way through for the first like quarter of a mile. It's pretty. It's hot. It's hot, humid, and smelly going as you go through, and just the heat continues to beat down upon you. You look up into the sky and you see this kind of almost like just enormously large blue sun dominating the sky. The humidity, the sulfuric smell makes it a difficult journey. Barai, eventually you do see something kind of sparking on your motion tracker. It's not moving quick. It's like it's almost barely triggering the motion aspect for the tracker, but you do see kind of something about within like the 1,000 feet of you. It's like kind of in one of the rows of the corn, rows of kind of the agricultural farming rows. There's something probably like you can't see it from eye level, and maybe crouching, and maybe moving slowly, and maybe crawling. But there's something over there that's large enough to trick the scanner that's moving.
Well, I've got binoculars. Anybody else wanna do something, or just
Honestly, this would be the point where I think that Darwin would want to get a good look at this as well. So, could Darwin try and use observation or survival to kind of get an idea of what might be out there, be it something that be local to the planet, if something feels off in the air, other from the stark silence?
Definitely. So
Just try
survival.
to.
Survival, unfortunately, wouldn't be super helpful here, but observation and kind of, I'll say the same thing for both Darwin and Rye. If you guys want to try to observe from where you're at, try to see if you can pin it through the rows of kind of the farm equipment, or not farm equipment, the rows of plants growing. It'll be a little bit difficult to spot, adding some additional successes needed to see so. But in case if you want to get closer and try to see if you can observe it, maybe try to sneak up on it, you're able to do so as well. Definitely your choice how you want to proceed.
so Ray will pass his binoculars to Darwin. Hopefully our physiognomy is it close enough that they work for him?
Oh yeah, he's still
It's-
humanoid. Yeah.
It's a +2 to observation at long range or more.
So +2, is that a +2 d6s or just a +2 to the dice roll?
+2 d6s. So the nice thing with this system is it's all just like d6s. There's no math outside of counting.
All right, and it's 6 up, so that'll be 2 right there. 2 successes.
You let it stand?
Oh, see, I got 3 stress. How many stress can we go up to total?
I can't remember if there's a limit. Hey, that's actually good. I should check that.
I do think there's a limit because once you reach it, the things start going bad.
Well,
That's
the
what I
hard part
remember,
is
I
the
think.
more dice you get, or the more stress you get, the more chances you are to get those ones and start increasing your panic level.
Oh, it's the panic level I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's a limit. So are you letting that stand?
I'll push it.
All right.
More stress. Oh, hey.
Hey,
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Okay.
and I didn't roll the other. Oh no, it's just the 4. Okay, we're good.
And you are good. You don't need to roll that again. So yeah, you kind of like look through these binoculars and like use kind of like your keen sense of sight to kind of look, kind of like spot pieces between kind of the rows of wheat and corn growing through to identify it. The first thing you're able to see are kind of like bits of sparks. Like it's almost like bits of like feels like kind of a wire that's been left out, and kind of as it's rubbing against the ground, you see bits of sparks kind of going off of it. The next is you see a bit of a metal carapace. kind of as you look through and kind of see, kind of scoping out the rest of it, you see a bit more to it. Looks to be like a loading, like a dumb loading droid. And basically, with these, it's like a not true AI, not something that's kind of smart, sentient, or anything like that, like the Dobots, but kind of a dumb loading thing that a lot of like the kind of what they call them as the dumb bots, the robot pieces that can be utilized for kind of menial tasks. And you see one of them, which looks to be in rough shape from what you can see. And actually, you can see it pretty clearly. Like it looks like there are chunks of it missing, and you see it kind of one armed, kind of dragging itself across the dirt.
So he'll pass back to binoculars and go,
Just a machine. It seems to be mostly beat to her. But maybe there's something we can use for it. Not too sure. Well, I, machines make me a little bit nervous, these kinds. I know it's not smart, but
and he just trails off to a little small muttered, mostly frightened muttering.
Do these bots have any sort of way of like storing data for review later or anything like that? Or is that something that we would know?
Give me a Comtech.
Yes.
What Sus is good in this one? You know that they do have like not like an exceptionally long-term memory. Like these things are usually kind of built cheap for farmers and such to be able to use them. But they do have like a decent short-term memory, usually at least a couple of days. That can kind of be pulled at least for kind of like momentous events that kind of stood out to them in the days. Like usually kind of good for like damage reports, kind of what triggered their damage, kind of good for maintenance reviews and things like that to give a clear perspective of the task and things they performed in the last like 48 hours, we'll say.
Okay. Well, if it's just a... Did you mention that it was a loading bot, or am I...
Oh, yeah. So it's like kind of a loading bot.
Did Darwin mention that it was a loading bot?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Darwin definitely mentioned that.
He just said, I hate machines.
He would mention that it's a living bot.
Okay. Well, we might be able to glean more information from its logs. So I say we approach it, disable it, take it, and review the information.
Boss, you want to go into the creepy field with the creepy things that destroyed the bot? All right. He just kind of lifts up his gun.
Oh, hold on. I gotta admit, you put it in a way that makes me reconsider what I'm thinking there. But that's the only thing setting off on the motion tracker, so it might be alone. We might be able to learn what we're up against. Yeah. So I'd say we quietly approach the creepy robot in the creepy field and the potentially creepy things.
Yeah, so Kaladin will kind of take point then, and start moving towards the robot quietly.
Give me what's that in the system? I think mobility. Give me a mobility check.
All right.
The man said, I'm plenty mobile. Look at that.
You're able to sneak up on this thing. You get a kind of even clear view of this loading bot moving through. This loading bot looks like it's went through hell. You see its legs are missing. And when I say missing, each leg kind of almost tells a different story. One of them looks like it's like you see jagged, broken metal wires sticking out. That's kind of where it was sparking and kind of catching that kind of bits of fire that Darwin noticed from the leg that was torn. One of them looks like cleanly burnt. Like it looks like somebody took a blowtorch. Somebody took something that could cut so hot so quickly, and you see it kind of pass. Like it just passed through that leg. It is the lines are smoldered and smooth. Like it is just like it's whatever it was clean and efficient. Outside of that, the thing looks like it has gouges across its chest and kind of front carapace. And you do see bits of burns across kind of the face that would look out and work with the humans. It has not noticed you. You're just continually seeing it with the one arm it has left, grabbing soil, pulling itself forward, grabbing, pulling. What do you do?
How big is this thing? Is it something I can like carry, or is it large?
It is. It's large. You could. I mean, it'd probably be a roll, but you could lift it up. So, like right now, it's half the size it normally is, but you would guess it's still probably between about 250, 300 pounds. Like it's metal. It's solid, even with pieces missing.
And would I know how to like shut the thing off? Is that
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
common? Okay. I would not know. I'm not gonna. Yeah, we're good.
Perfect. You
And
see it crawl like it does not notice you. Calvin, what are you doing? Everybody else, what are you guys hanging back, or what are you all doing?
I mean, I'm not gonna send him into the field by himself. That's crappy. Does anybody take up the spot behind him?
I'll follow behind, but keep a good distance in case anything gets a jump on him.
Okay. Does Kaladin give any sort of signal? Not necessarily an all clear, but hey, it's just a dead robot, or just a nearly dead robot.
yeah, he would. So his suit has a comm system, so he would very quietly communicate back.
Actually, I'm gonna cheese it a bit more. I've got a Seegson P-DAT. It's a personal data tablet. A PDAT can be synced with spectrograph mapping devices, PDTs, and helmet cams. Coordinate a team on the go.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I assume I have a helmet cam. I don't know. It's just the M3 armor. Just has a built-in comm.
GM's discretion.
So I drank some water really badly. Now I am choking myself. Does any of the, I will say, who has like fancy armor? Or who has armor with things right now?
I think it's just our resident Marine.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I just have the M3 personal armor. Yeah.
We'll say that Calvin is able to have got a little heads-up cam that you can view from that right now, but he's the only one that has that.
Okay.
That feature.
Maybe so. From what I'm observing from him, could I then perform a com? Not that I'm great at comtech, mind you. But
yeah, go for it.
Ooh.
So I add a stress and then I roll 3d6.
That's 1d6 plus 3.
Man, I got snake eyes on that one.
So you're keeping it together, but you do gain another stress.
Yep.
And Ray, we'll say, yeah, you know how to turn off this droid. Fairly easy, kind of the back of the head, kind of switch on that side. And Kaladin, you'll be able to communicate that to Kaladin before what happens.
It's the off button.
Rydell, the thing that kind of almost causes you to panic, as you're giving those instructions, kind of viewing through your PDA, you hear a chirp from your motion sensor. You hear another chirp. looking at the motion sensor, you see 2 dots approaching you with a steady gait. What do you guys do?
So Kaladin's still kind of on the comm, like quietly saying, "Hey, Dowd, are you getting this? What do you want me to do here?"
Off button by the ear, but heads up, we've got movement. We've got 2 incoming from
The direction of the ship.
the direction of the ship.
Our ship or the ship we're headed to?
The ship that's idling. That's the one you're headed to.
Okay. He'll pass the binoculars back. I'm gonna butcher the name too. I'm sorry. Gosh. Excuse me. Does Gakillaru?
That's what I would say, yeah. So
Okay. Is she proficient at observing?
you drank that too? I just did that a second ago. Like I drank wrong, and like it took me off for like 5 minutes.
Oh, I'm just bad at breathing right now.
You just RP in the stress here.
Yeah. But is Gakillaru good at looking, observing, or should it pass the binocs back to Darwin?
Well, I'm already kind of like halfway to Kaladin, just kind of providing some backup if needed.
You're right. You're right. So then,
yeah.
Damn. So that would be passing it back, Darwin, that direction. Tell me what you see. 2 figures.
Thank you. So,
No
Darwin,
roll
take it.
necessary.
Oh.
They're not trying to be stealthy. You see 2 humanoids moving through the rows of kind of corn and wheat, making their way directly towards you. Good thing is, like, one of these is clearly a human, the other a dwarf. So you recognize these as species or kind of creatures inherent to the galaxy. That's the good news. The bad news is they have a wild look in their eyes. It almost seems to be glowing with energy. You see calcifications sprouting off of each kind of their different limbs and kind of their faces on that side. You see that especially the dwarf almost seems to be coated in this calcifications almost become armor like. You just see this gleam in their eye. This energy almost seems to be radiating off of them. And they're kind of spread out, making their way towards you. They're moving quietly, but they're not trying to hide from you.
All right. Darren's going to see that, pass the binoculars back, and just say, we'll just say,
Fiends.
Can Cal start to move to kind of get into a position where he could potentially ambush them if he hasn't been spotted?
You were moving stealthy before. Yeah, give me another mobility check.
Nope.
Yeah, you try to kind of like edge around them on that side, and you hear the human call out. He calls out like loud enough for you to hear, but especially it's easy to hear because of silence, but you realize he's not yelling. It's almost like he's trying to keep his voice low, but still make sure that you can hear. And he goes, "Stuff that shit. We know you're here. What the hell are you all doing on this planet? We don't need competition."
So Cal will just kind of step out of kind of the corn, just shrug and go, guess I'll go deal with the robot. And he'll go back and try to turn off the robot while they're talking.
Okay. So hi there. Nice to see you. Who's we, by the way? Where do we have a name as a mercenary group? Do we have a?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, we should, right? Yeah. The Immortal 50 down to form. No.
I know that was a joke, but I really do kind of like the Immortal 50.
Yeah. Right. I don't know.
I do like the 50 piece in there, like
Mhm.
like station name 50.
Yeah. Oh, screw it. Let's
More 50.
I kind of like the idea that there was 50 of us at one point.
yeah. Well, screw it. I'll go with we're with the Immortal. We're from the Immortal 50. No one has to know that the rest of them are not doing it anymore. Okay? We don't put out like roster sheets that are for the public to view. So I like the number. 50 is a good number. I like it. You like it. We all like it.
They're immortalized in the stars now.
There you go. Yeah, it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
It wasn't always a metaphor, but it is now.
It was a metaphor. Now it's just marketing. Oh man, we're at the Immortal 50. We were sent here when you failed to report back in. Everything going okay, friend?
Cocks his head to you. You see kind of one of his calcifications, like almost thrums. Report back in. What are you lot doing here?
Looking for you. Looking for you. What else would we be doing?
You see they take almost like, not raise their weapons quite, but you do see them grip them a little bit tighter. You're here for this row, ain't you? Be upfront about it. You're not going to take ours row.
Whoa. We didn't even know about this row.
I want you to look at me for a second and really look at me in the eyes, and the arms, and the legs. Do you know what I am?
An Arquin that would sell out his family for the bottom dollar.
Bingo. But do you also know that our Quinn are super protective of this row? But whenever they're protective of it, they have to wear the right protective equipment, or else they can't protect this row. Do you see me wearing protective equipment?
I see you with 2 humans, and I'm how do we say that again?
Mangasi.
Mangasi, thank you.
Well, you can't rely on them for anything. 2 of them are humans. You know it, you're human.
Mostly.
You see,
So, do you really think that an Arquin would come here first row without being suited up?
you kind of see him look back to his partner, look at the other ones amongst the group, and he goes, "We just need y'all to keep quiet and just get off the Griffin planet. This row here is ours. We'll kill you if we need to. But just get the hell off our planet."
What's up with the sun? If we can figure out what's going on there, we'll get out of here. We'll even tell Zargov that everything's fine. There's nothing to worry about. He doesn't need to come send any more people to deal with this place.
This place is dead. Zarvok and who the fuck that is can screw off. Within a day, this will be Space Atoms. But for today, there's a chance. But as I said, it's our row. We get it. You guys leave now. Take your lives. We save your lives. And get off planet. Or we'll have to take your lives.
Is there anybody else on the planet? I mean, that way we can just take them with us and we don't have to share any of this row?
Yeah. Some unlucky bastards that already got caught.
Caught Cut by who or what?
Did you just lot to stumble into this shit?
Yes.
The bastards don't have a name. They're Legion, by the best way to describe them. But you don't need to worry about that. You need to worry about getting back to your ship and staying quiet until you get off planet. We don't need none of them coming down on us right now.
Well, we're not going to have a home to go back to unless we figure out more about what's happening with the sun. Now, you said we have a day. We got a lot to figure out if we're going to leave here before that happens. But the more you tell us, the sooner we'll be able to go. What's this Legion? Where are they coming from?
Give me a manipulation check here.
Hey.
All right, mark a stress and roll a stress die.
So I earn one more stress before rolling on the panic table. So I would roll +2.
Yeah. Oof, all right. That is actually out of the you keeping it together territory. What is going on there?
Nervous twitch, stress level of you and friendly PCs close to you goes up by 1.
Whoa.
So yeah, you look and you see kind of like as you speak to them, you see like this almost inhuman look, this almost inhuman hunger within their eyes. You see that gleam, that kind of fiendish look that the MKZs are known for. And it kind of just unsettles you. For Chuck Elru, how's that nervous twitch look on her?
I didn't mention this earlier, but one thing I had kind of thought of is that like the Mangasi don't have vocal cords, but they have these these like machines that they manipulate to create sound essentially, so they can communicate with the other species easily. And so as she's talking through this device, she kind of fumbles with it, and the voice like cracks a bit in like a literal sense. And
I don't know why I'm imagining auto-tune.
But the and then the but yeah, the part where she said like we're not going to have a home to go back to, that's when like her voice kind of breaks a bit, and you see her fiddling with several of the trinkets that she has from her children.
Perfect. You all see that nervous twitch. Everybody make sure to mark that additional stress from seeing your crew panic. You kind of look at, you see it like some of the message does get through. That quickest way to get rid of you without causing a scene is to give you some information. And like he like gets like, especially seeing you twitch, he gives you the information, but he gets kind of like closer and closer to you. This human's eyes like burning like with this fiendish glow, and he goes, "You lot took a trip into hell, but in hell, there's some good riches." Pointing towards the center, there's some Zro up there that if we can get in, we can get quiet. Best Zro. Don't ask what it's made of, but it'll get you there. Those creatures out of name, you could shoot at them, and you may kill a few, but the rest, they'll devour you if they catch you. So we're going to go in quick, quiet, steal some of that Zero for us and get off planet before this thing goes boom. You lot can get back in your shit. Quiet like. And we're all going to survive today. You got me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can head back to our ship.
Oh, we'll take it.
Hmm?
Oh, yeah, we're going to take you there.
So Kaladin's gonna come back, kind of walk up a little bit, gonna heft kind of his pulse rifle, and just say, "Hmm, you can probably kill us, but you can't do it silently. So let's get real about our options here."
Give me a manipulation check.
I want to add to that so bad.
Hey, hold it off.
Yeah, you got one.
You see, he looks and considers it, but you do see like kind of reaching towards like. See, he pats like on the side the stun baton that he's got strapped. The other guy pats a knife. It'll be a shootout, but we can do what needs to be done. And you ever see an MK fight? Not everything we knew needs to even move a hand. If you understand my drift.
Well, I've never seen an MK fight, but I know that all I need to do to make a lot of noise is a twitch of my finger, twitch of his finger. You know, that's 4 twitchy fingers you got to worry about. And yeah, maybe you'll kill us, but then you're gonna end up on the nasty end of what was it, the Legion you mentioned? Get torn apart. I don't want to die. Do you want to die?
You see, he glares at you for a moment, like you see his eyes grow a bit brighter before he kind of looks at his partner. He looks back at you, hand on the stun baton, and he goes, "Are you here for this row? Yes or no? No questions, nothing cute.
No.
If I see you by this row, Legion or not, I will blow you to hell. Understood?"
Yeah. Listen, we gotta. Man, I really need to get a cheat sheet with the alien names. Our resident scientist here cannot be exposed to Zro. It'll kill him. Why would we bring him along if we had any intention of touching Zro? We're here for the people, and we're here for information. Can you MKs read minds or whatever? Because if you could, you'd know that right now I'm being entirely honest. You saw the clunker we came in on. You think we're going to transport Zro in that?
The desperate and stupid have done worse.
Well, I'm not desperate or stupid.
You're here.
I beg to differ.
You're here.
All right, okay, I'm desperate and I'm really stupid, but I'm not stupid enough to do that.
You guys see, like, they both start to step back. Fine. You're not here for this row. You understand if we see you following us or headed towards this row, you're dead.
Look, if you see us carrying Zro, unload on us, we're looking for people. We're looking for people that might have survived this.
You see him jerk his head back. The camp. Crawling with them. Nameless creatures, but if you want to find some of those people, they're there.
Okay. And we might end up there. You're not going to shoot us if we're by the camp, are we? Are you?
You're on the right side of the camp. Stay on the outskirts. You don't need to go inside the factory.
Have you ever been in one of those factories before?
You see the dwarf kind of shake his head, the human go, "Once. Best day of my life."
Tell me all about it, please.
Screw off. You stay outside of the factory. Talk to those humans that are going to die. And we all be happy.
I'm trying to think of any way I can sweeten that pond. Like I said, we're here for information. We don't know anything about this, and people are paying credits, which apparently you don't care too much about. That's what we're here for, credits. And lives, and information. And people are willing to pay for information. You give me that, we'll leave you alone. We'll stay away. Never even saw you. What other ship? Who? No idea.
All right, give me a manipulate check. This is going to be very hard. Is there anything anybody else can do to help out for this manipulate check?
Not
Oh,
really.
Brother, I'm going to push that because, come on, I've got 14 dice now?
All
Going
right,
for this? Whatever.
look at the 5 stress die.
Oh, no!
Give me that stress roll. And then we'll see what is going to happen. This will probably be the end of today's session as well.
1d6 plus 6.
Yep. Yeah, 6 yes. Damn, all right, that's pretty bad. You freeze. And as you freeze, a few things happen all at once. You start to see you hear it before you see it. You hear this buzzing hum. You see this MK who before had been staring daggers at you, this human with these calcified horns growing out of his face. As he hears that buzz, you see his face pale and drop. And you see kind of popping out, almost like a snake jumping up and down through the rows of wheat and corn. You see this creature. It's long, probably you'd guess at least 2 to 3 feet long. It has this black shiny carapace, fangs at the front of its mouth. And you see one kind of looping through. You see another. You see another. And for a moment, you just freeze. And you hear the MK shout, "God's damn it!" As he picks up his stun baton. And you kind of look and see more and more of the farmlands begin to rumble. The last thing you see here before we wrap is it goes, not full fathomless, or not full nameless, the proto stage. On your feet, if somebody gets bit, they're dead. You got me?
I'm frozen.
Okay. He looks to the crew, stun baton in hand, and that is where we'll wrap our session. So yeah, we'll pick up next week, session 2. See a little bit more of what's going on this nameless agricultural planet. See see what path do you all choose. Do you want to go and save the people? Do you want to loot some of the artifacts that may be in that factory and get that payday from the Arquin? Or are you just going to fuck off and go home? We'll figure out next week on that side of the crew. So everybody make sure to join us for session 2 of the Galaxy. This is probably about 3 sessions. Maybe it could be depending on how it goes next week. Could be even less on that side.
It could be 20
make sure
minutes.
to come by for that. And we'll get into you can see some combat for the alien system. The crew already has a bit more stress than I anticipated so far, but it'll be cool to see how everybody reacts. Before we we'll wrap there. So everybody come back next week, and we'll see you all 7 p.m. next Tuesday.